I hate to do this. I hate to do this today. I wanted to talk a little bit about, just a little bit, touch on Pluto and Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini, and why I am choosing to leave social media at this time. I know it sounds like a heavy feat, but it is a decision that I have been thinking about for some time, that I've been kind of going back and forth and deciding to do for quite some time. But I just think with everything going on with, just recently we had this thing with YouTube and, uploading the, IDs and things like that. It's deeper than that, it's deeper than like uploading the ID, because I mean, essentially, the internet has a bulk of our information. You know what I mean? There's like no corner, unless you just completely scrubbed on the internet, that wouldn't have our information and privacy. But I think with this Pluto and Aquarius transit, and we talk about, platonic themes of like the hidden, or not only the transformation, but like the dark side of technology, which we can see with Aquarius, and also what we can see with Gemini. Aquarius being not only collectives, but tech, AI. We can also see this with communities as well, and communication, and the ways in which we are communicating and things. And Uranus kind of shaking up the ground. I've just decided that it's best for me probably to start to make my exit now at this time. I'm not saying that I won't have platforms available, for me to be able to see and find y'all, but it just won't be on these sites. Sorry, got some clothes in my teeth. It just won't be in these sites that, y'all see me here now, like the YouTubes and everything else. My Substack is still going to be open at this time. I will have Substacks for the majority of, well, really all of my platforms and things that I'm on. But for the most part, after August, I will be leaving YouTube. I'll also be leaving Instagram, Facebook, all the platforms possibly, potentially, that I've been on for all these years. And, I just wanted to come here and pop on and just talk a little bit about my reasonings as to why, just more than what I've talked about before. And just thank y'all for being with me on this particular journey. It's not to say that it won't continue. It's just going to continue in other spaces that don't play these big tech company games. You know what I'm saying? What up, Taylor? I'm gonna miss you too, boo. I'm still gonna be around in the Substack space for sure, but I think I'm just at a point where I'm just tired of like it's like we have all this stuff going on in the world, and of course we know that they don't care, but we have all this stuff going on in the world, and it's just like, it's constant games with them, and the censorship, and, taking TikTok off and then putting it back, and, censoring what we talk about and the things that we don't. And this is like, I don't want to live under that. I don't want to have to, one day I wake up and I'm not going to be able to log on to my YouTube channel, right? Or shit, it even goes further than that. This is just like a test dummy, right? Because eventually it's not only going to be social media, where we're either going to have to upload things or pay for it, but this is stuff that we're going to also be seeing like on our phones. I've talked about this before, on our phones and our banks, where, you might have to go through hoops in order to access your bank if you don't, subscribe to the mark of the beast, is what I like to call it, And so I think I'm just at a space where I'm thinking not only present, but I'm thinking like future forward, like into the future of what I would like to see for myself, and not only just for myself, but for the communities that I want to also be alongside with. And it doesn't necessarily involve these, big tech companies and corporations controlling the narrative. And so Like I said, you definitely see me still on the Substack. There is a comment section down below on the Substack as well. I wish you didn't need a Substack to subscribe, but it is there. You know, I'm also going to still be available for teachings, readings, just going into more of like the analog dog type of way. So maybe you'll find me like on a CD or a DVD versus, you know, social media, or you'll be able to download it from, you know, the Paystack platform and things like that. But I just won't be, yeah, I just decided that this is going to be, I think, a calling for me and a time for me to kind of transition off. So I don't want to keep this video too long, but I will, if you are seeing this video, if you resonate with, you know, a rainy storm and just all the years that I've been here on this channel, like I said, you could definitely follow me on Substack and subscribe for free on Substack. And yeah, I hope that, you know, I've been looking into this platform called PeerTube, which is kind of like YouTube, but it's more decentralized, and looking at more decentralized spaces where I can do like web hosting, but mostly in-person things is what I really want to get back to. And, you know, doing teachings in person, traveling, you know what I mean? He said, "What up, Mac?" A lot of people are feeling this right now. Almost definitely. Like, I think what's happening, I think, is encouraging us to like take that step. Because like I said, it's been on my mind for a while, you know, to eventually transition. But I think it's just starting to kind of tee the head where it's just like, do we want to continue to play these kind of games, or do we want to actually now really take the leap to start things that actually resonate with what we want to do and not just what we're being like consumed with, right? Social media and doom scrolling and all that kind of stuff has just become just too much. And I think, you said you want to do that too, Mac. Most definitely. I think it's a good step to take. And if that's not where you at, that's not your calling, that's fine. That's just where I'm at now. And yeah, I just want to make it easier. So if anything, you'll probably see like flyers with maybe QR codes around the world of with my face and a rainy storm stuff on it. You know, you'll start to see, like I said, in-person events and things. The blog, which is like Substack, that you'll see me on, that you could contact me with. I'm also moving away from Gmail too. So once I find a better way to keep in contact with people, I'll also be eventually getting rid of my Gmail account as well. And maybe just going into like a call-to-call basis and things on a new number, on a different number. Yeah, you know what, as a millennial, I can honestly and truly say I'm excited for the shift, because I mean, I've lived through this, you know what I mean? Like this, as a millennial, this is my stomping ground. So it's nothing to a boss, you know? And I think social media is just kind of, it's not to say that social media won't be here. I just think that we'll be using, the ways in which we're going to be using social media in the future is going to be completely different. I think that we'll see them more as like meetup spaces, like, okay, this is where we're gonna meet, or hey, this is what's happening in this area, versus it being something that we're like sitting and doom scrolling on, and like it's just sucking the life out of us kind of energy, or where we're like fighting algorithms and things like that, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm excited to see it. Like I'm in a place now where I have my to a point where I'm not using iPhone either. I know it sounds crazy, like as a millennial, like I get it, right? But I want to get to a point too where like I'm not using the iPhone, you know. I've been looking into things like Meshtastic, which is like a decentralized phone, and some other things as well that are like decentralized and community based. It's not saying that all of this stuff is going to happen overnight. This is stuff that's kind of like a slow transition that's been happening over time. But like I said, as a millennial, I'm hype about it, because I love talking to people in person, meeting people in person. I love to, you know, connect with people through, you know, like in-person things. It is going to be a good process. I think a lot of people are going to, we're in a Jupiter and Cancer transit, you know, Vedic, you know, Jupiter and Gemini transit. I think we're going to start to see a lot more people like connecting in ways that we haven't seen in quite some time. Like people really like exhaling, like finally, like it feels so good to like, you know, talk and like, you know, just be in spaces. I think we're going to even start to see, you know, more shared spaces with people like opening up spaces to share space, to talk, to chill, and even maybe not talk the entire time, but just chill and be in good company, you know, with each other, community building and things like that. And like that's what I really want to cultivate, you know. And I had to really sit with myself. I'm like, is, you know, these platforms really serving you to your highest good? And I could say yes, because I've met all y'all, right? Like I've met so many beautiful people, you know, on these different platforms and things, and it's connected me, I think, to a widespread of people from all over the world. And I really do appreciate y'all for that. I really do. Seeing me go through this journey, growing in my journey, growing as a person and things. And now I'm just like, now it's time to transition, you know, and start to evolve, and not only evolve, but really embody this energy that I've told myself for so many years that I want to be in as we do move through all of this. So yeah, this is just like my August farewell. I will probably next week, well, I will definitely be posting the Aquarius full moon, and it'll kind of, the Aquarius full moon meditation video is going to be a little bit different this time, because I'm going to go into the full moon meditation, but it'll be from a decentralized space. Okay, so we'll be talking a little bit deeper into community decentralization, what it looks like to live in a sustainable communities, barter and trade. I'm on the same wave. You're taking the words right out of my mouth. I was just speaking these things last night. You and me both, Mac. I swear. Like we right here on the same page. It just came to me this last night and this morning of like, we need to switch it up. Like I've been thinking about this, but like me actually like getting it out of my mind and like writing it down and talking it out to myself. So I do talk to myself a lot, of like, yeah, we need to change the game. So the full moon in Aquarius is going to be about, like I said, that decentralization, talking about, I'm not going to go into full detail about it, but I will give y'all and share some resources with y'all that you could use as you are thinking about building these new realms and worlds around whatever community that you do have. So things like, what does it look like to grow your own food? Like I'm even starting to think of, and this is something we talked about like a couple of months back when I was doing my lives like more frequently, of what it would look like to have like household items that you just make. So for example, instead of going out to buy bread, you get in the resources to make bread. You know what I mean? This is definitely a transitional period for a lot of us. It will ultimately be for the better though. Health is wealth, most definitely. Hello, we're on the same wavelength right now on this subject. Hey, EP. Same. I'm telling you. I think we're all like, because we're all connected, right? Like we're all, that's why with all the stuff that is going on in the world, and I think that's why all of this is happening, y'all. I think that's why all of this is happening simultaneously at the same time, like this pressure point of them like trying to race to like, you know, censor and you know, throw out fear and do all these things, because we're waking up. We're starting, everybody's starting to be like, look around and be like, wait a goddamn minute. Now if Johnny had an apple seed on, like everybody's like waking up, you know? And I think that's why we're having these types of realizations where we're like, okay, we need to do this differently from another perspective. And the thing is, what I want y'all to really understand and I want y'all to really know is we can do that. We're able to do that. We have the resources to do it. We're geniuses, y'all. I know they tried to condense us into working these jobs, you know, doing the same things over and over again, but really that was just a distraction from our greatness. Okay? that all was just a distraction from who we actually are, okay? And so once we start to detach ourselves little by little, and we start to decompress from this veil that has been like covering us, because Neptune again has been in Pisces for the longest time. No shade, we love you, Neptune and Pisces, but the veil was very thick there, you know? And now that we've moved into this Neptune and Aries, Saturn and Aries energy, I think we're starting to get like more of a full scope, and not just in the spiritual aspect, Pisces, but this full embodiment, this spiritual embodiment, Aries, the body of what we've actually come here to do, right? And so I think we're low-key, high-key, let's just be real, we're being triggered to now make the necessary changes, right, to do what we need to do what we've come here to do. And Saturn is giving us the building blocks or the building foundations, and Aries is giving us that drive to do it. While Saturn is like, okay, Aries, we know you like to be like a wrecking ball, but we can give you the structure in order to really move and manipulate that fire in exactly the ways in which you need to make this thing happen, along with everything else. Uranus and Gemini, that's why I wanted to talk about Uranus and Gemini too. I'm not going to go deep into it. I have a video on Uranus and Gemini if you haven't checked it out already. But Uranus and Gemini is giving us that energy to play, right? Uranus is revolutionary. It's you know, it's also very extreme. I will say that as well too. Uranus can be like two different polar opposite sides of the coin. Things kind of happening suddenly out of nowhere. These are where we see inventors, or people who are inventing new things. Like I talked about a little bit, the dude, I forget his name, with the gas, you know, turning plastic waste into gas and things like that, and oils into electricity and water into electricity. Like we're gonna see stuff like that. The technology isn't the issue, it's the individuals and groups using it with dark hidden intentions, exactly. And that's Pluto and Aquarius, okay? You know, I've heard so much people talk about, you know, AI and technology and how it's doing this. And I'm not saying it's not, but our phones are too, right? Our phones, all this technology that we use is a part of the bigger regime, right? And it is in the hands of these big tech companies and corporations who are doing it in order to suppress us. You know what I mean? Like they're doing these things in order to keep us down. But I think, like I said, the more we're moving out of this energy, we're starting to see ultimately the power that we also have within our at our fingertips, really. Like honestly and truly. And we can use it for the things that we want to not only embody, but the things that we also want to create in our own communities, our own spaces, and our own worlds, you know? And Gemini is giving us that kind of childlike curiosity to explore new ways to communicate. You know, I've even seen people coming up with like their own streaming services, people leaving Netflix, people leaving Hulu, people leaving, you know, these different things, and being like, let's get back to piracy. Like, who lives in the pineapple under the sea? You know what I mean? Like, let's get back to line wires and, you know, downloads and things like that. I mean, we don't own anything, y'all. We don't own anything. We could use the same tech, way more advanced tech, to benefit all of humanity in harmony with nature. That's what we need to do and should have been doing in the first place. Exactly. But when you don't have the tools, or when you haven't educated yourself on the tools, then you put that energy into the people, the big pharma corporations and companies, like you just said, Mac, to be the ones to control that, right? But now that we know that we have these tools at our fingertips, what are we going to use them for? You know what I mean? What do we want to do with it? You know? And these are the questions that I want y'all to start asking yourselves. And y'all can also leave me comments down below, like what it is y'all thinking, what it is that y'all are feeling, like what it is that y'all would like to bring into y'all's own communities, or just some thoughts that you've been having. I love to hear y'all's comments and things like that as well too. But yeah, the thing about it is we have more power than we think we do. We've just been told and we've been codependent on a system that never had our best interest at heart. And I know it sounds disheartening to be a part of something, especially, like I said, I know I keep going back to the millennials myself, but we've had to realize that all this shit was a lie, right? Like our whole entire lives was a fucking lie, right? Like, and having to like backtrack from that and be like, dang, whole time, none of this was real, you know? Even from our childhoods, I can go into like Nickelodeon and the child stars and Hollywood and all this crazy stuff that we came into, you know. Younger millennial here, Saturn and Aquarius, Uranus and Capricorn for sure. What's up? I'm a 92 baby, so I'm like right in the midst of all of the, you know, what you call it, millennialism and things. And you said you too? Yeah, 92 babies all day. What's good? You know what I mean? We've seen it. We've seen it before we had advanced technology, and we've seen it after. You know, we still had pagers and cell phones. Well, eventually cell phones, but we still had house phones, you know, and dial-up internet, and we still went outside to go play, you know, and we connected through flyers and meeting up at the, you know, parks and doing the bicycle rides around the block, and, you know, going to go hoop and play basketball, and, you know, using MapQuest to try to get to, well, even shit before MapQuest, you just kind of had to know where you was at, you know, and I miss that. I miss paper printing. I miss CDs. I miss when, you know, CDs used to have like, you know, the artist's album, and they would talk about like their whole entire, you know, discography of like how they made the album, where they from. Like, I miss cassette tapes, you know, DVDs. Like, I miss it. I miss, you know, what life was like before streaming services and subscriptions and, you know, just all this extra stuff. I really, really do. And I feel like this is a great time to really get back to what that looks like, and, you know, start and build communities that also mirror that. I'm not saying that it has to be necessarily the same thing per se, but doing it in a new way where we're still connected to the ground, but we're also finding ways to connect in a more healthy way, right? And a healthy version of, you know, being in our online spaces. Maybe even going back to forums again, you know, going back to like online forums, where we can like, you know, post, you know, threads and resources and stuff like that, and then disperse into, you know, our day-to-day lives. So I miss forums. I miss forums so much. I miss chat rooms. I miss forums. I miss all of that, you know. So yeah, the full moon in Aquarius, we'll talk a little bit about forming and building your own community from the ground. Also too with yourself too, because I think social media, because so many people are on social media, they've lost the art of that Aquarian energy, right? And when I say when they've lost the art of the Aquarian energy, it's the dare to be different, right? I think with trends and scrolling all the time, like there's been like this mix of personalities where everybody wants to be like this person, or wants to be like this thing, or wants to sound like this thing, when Aquarius is about embracing the uniqueness that is you, right? So I think detaching from online and social media is going to be resetting that. And also with the Saturn and Aries and Neptune and Aries energy, I think is going to definitely be setting that personal swag, personal style, personal lingo. Okay, we're going to start to see. And yeah, so, you know, building like, for example, barter and trade communities, building like technology hubs, artistic and creative hubs as well, food sharing, resource sharing, what it looks like to, you know, grow your own foods, and, you know, have your own medicines, and doulas and midwives, and education spaces, you know what I'm saying, with libraries and things, and what that looks like, you know, transportation as well too. You know, I haven't really did my astro traveling video versus the trailer that I've showed y'all with me moving to my moon line, but, you know, I'm out here, you know what I mean, a Dow ship boat. I haven't went, like I said, I haven't went too deep into it, But maybe that's what I'll talk a little bit about in the next video for y'all before I make my full-on exit. Captain makes a full-on, El Capitan makes a full-on exit here, you know. But what that means to, you know, travel to different places and worlds. And I'm sure you know almost everything has been compromised, poisoned, tainted at some point. This will be people coming together to change that, detoxing away is all a part of it. Almost definitely, from the water to the land to the sea. Okay, there's even technologies being built right now by the people that are going into the water to take all the toxins out of the water. Now we ask the government, well, why ain't y'all got all this quote unquote money? Why ain't y'all doing it? Because they don't want to, y'all. They don't want to. They never did. Like, that's not why they're here, right? So just keeping that in mind as well. And also I want to say this, just with that, yes, we need organic land, water, food tech, yes, and definitely, yes, the positive side of Pluto and Aquarius. I just can't wait to see the communities come together, y'all. I know it's going to be a lot because I know it's a lot of internal things that we're going to have to work through, but I cannot wait to see collectives come through. Like, I just keep thinking of that song, I don't know why this is coming through my head, but hey now, you're an all-star, get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're an all-star, get your game on, go play. All that glitters is gold, only you can stop, play some go. I don't know, I always have like collective like theme music, like us, like everybody getting together and like, you know, people like, you know, like even out here right now, there's like a big textile conservation that's happening, well, where they're basically pulling all this clothes and old clothes and things like that have been just literally dropped into the sea and dropped into the mangroves, dropped into the ocean, right? And so they're taking these clothes and they're finding, for example, and even plastic, and finding new ways to use this plastic. And now we're starting to see, instead of the overproduction of, you know, material and clothes and making things, people are using what they already have and making it into something new. So we're even seeing like little initiatives like that, you know what I mean? Again, growing food, right? And things. So it's a lot. It's a lot that I will kind of break down on the Aquarius video. Like I said, instead of it being, maybe I'll add a short meditation at the end of the video, but I think all in all, this video will be mostly about what it means. What's up, boo? Starseed arc. Yes, a starseed arc, a starship sovereignty arc for this Aquarius full moon, and just talking about better ways to bridge our communities. And maybe that's what I'll do for the rest of this time as I leave YouTube to rest, which will probably be after the 15th, especially if they think. I think a good skill to develop is learning to garden, having more a holistic approach to life. The children need to be taught these skills instead of just staring at screens unsupervised. Most definitely. We need to go back to the old roots. That's what we used to do back in the day. I think it just stopped at a certain point. But yeah, we used to be students back in the day, you know. Do you have a Discord Patreon? I do not have a Discord Patreon. I do have a Discord, but I'm not on like the Discord. Would y'all want me to start a Discord or something like that? I don't want to start a Patreon because I tried to do that on here, but I don't know. Sometimes I just feel uncomfortable about having y'all behind a paywall. So, but I mean, if y'all want to donate to the kid, you know, y'all can. But I don't know. I'm kind of over like having y'all have to pay through some type of like paywall. So I started, like, I did the Ko-fi and I did the Patreon and I did one even on PayHip, but then I just kind of fell out of it because I'm just like, it just feels weird to have it, because I want people to be able to have access to. So, but I'm definitely always open if you just want to support. But I can't start a Discord. I can't start a Discord. The only thing is, I don't think right now I have the full-on capacity to keep it up. But maybe after I have like I feel like I have a good active group of people, I'll eventually start the Discord. I do have the Substack though. That's the one that I want to leave y'all with for now. Will be the Substack, where the information is being sent directly to your email, and also having like the communication stuff. But I also know for Substack, I think you have to have an account to be able to see the Substacks, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really sure if you, or to post, if I'm not mistaken, and things. So if y'all know some type of, maybe I could do Discord, but then again, if you needed to download Discord, it is free. But if you needed to download Discord, I guess I could, I want to have some type of forum too, that we can still talk, even if I'm not posting to the Substack and things like that, because everybody doesn't have Substack and to subscribe. Yeah, so like I said, let me know in the comments if y'all have any kind of suggestions, any kind of decentralized places that you think would be good to start to kind of look into. I did tell y'all about Meshtastic, which is kind of like a walkie-talkie to, it's kind of like a decentralized walkie-talkie to start to talk and shift. There's been a lot of talk about crypto too, in different spaces. I'm not gonna get too deep into that. Cryptocurrency, or at least using the blockchain, right, as a way. You said, I recently made a Discord account to communicate with other like-minded people. Okay, well, maybe I will look into doing the Discord if that's something that y'all would want to be in, and, just staying connected to, versus just the Substack weekly emails and stuff like that, so we can like talk and kind of bounce off and things and send each other resources and stuff. Would y'all be down for that? For Discord? Okay, I could do a Discord for sure. Just don't vex me if I'm not in there like actively all the time, okay? Because I'll be doing a lot, but at least just having the space to keep y'all posted and stuff like that as to what's going on, and resources and dialogue and stuff like that. Now the videos, Substack does have a video section where I can upload videos. I am going to start to take off videos off of YouTube eventually. I mean, I could leave it up on YouTube and things, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and just start taking it off. And what I am gonna do is eventually make some DVDs and CDs and stuff like that with like astrology 101s and stuff like that. And also too, I'll still have it for download and stuff, so y'all can just download them straight to your computer instead of just having to stream them and not being able to keep them with you as well too. But I think I'm trying to think if that's it, if there's anything else. But yeah, just if y'all have any ideas of like resources when it comes to like decentralized being and living. He said, I just don't like that it's called Discord. There will be a lot of drama on there, but only if you involve yourself and you have, let me see what you said, bro. But only if you involve yourself. I only have my folks on there. Oh yeah. Yeah, it can get a little, Discord can get a little messy in some things, but I think I would want to, if I did have a Discord, I think it would be something that is like very intimate, and curated for people that want to have like conversations. More so, it would be more so like, it's not just like community and connect, but I think I would try to have it around different types of conversations, so maybe we would have, I don't know, y'all could tell me like, I'm sure if you made your own server, it would be present. Okay, I'll make one so we can be in it, but like, we'll have like a Pluto and Aquarius theme, and then we'll have a question from that theme, and then people can like go in and do some like brain dumping and collaborating things. But I'll just ask people, when I do create the Discord, just keep it respectful, keep it cool, keep it respectful, keep it cute, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that we all have to agree, but I would just ask that people just keep it cool and keep it cute, even if you disagree, with whatever's being said. Allow people to have the stage, allow people to have the stand. And then maybe like, because I know Discord has like a video or like the income with the mics and stuff like that. Right, let's be mature, let's keep it cute, the incomes and the mics and stuff like that. We can do like maybe monthly like chats and stuff like that about the planetary things that are happening. You know, people can like kind of give their own dialogue to stuff that maybe that they've seen, just stuff like that, so we can like keep it cool and keep it kosher. I'll also still be doing like live. I skipped the Uranus and Gemini because I was moving, so I skipped the Uranus and Gemini live course. But I'll also do continue to do live courses and stuff like that where I'm teaching, and not just like YouTube videos, but I'll also do like teach-ins where you could come in, you know, you can ask questions and stuff like that. So it'll still be there, and also my readings and all that kind of stuff will still be intact. I just won't be on like physical social media. That's like TikTok, YouTube, Instagrams, Facebooks, and stuff like that. So, and I'm not really active, honestly, besides I'm active on TikTok for the most part, and I'm active on YouTube, but I'll be okay. I'm a millennial. I got this. You know what I mean? So we can find new ways to commune and be together and things like that. And so I will definitely, I didn't bring my scratch pad with me, but I'll definitely start the Discord after the Mercury retrograde is over. Okay. After the Mercury retrograde is over, boo, I will start the Discord here. And it is also my birthday season as well. I am not necessarily knee deep into the festivities quite because we do have Mercury retrograde in. But other than that, you know, I'm definitely down to come through and things like that. Like I said, after the maybe I'll start it during the Venus-Jupiter conjunction. We can do for the Venus-Jupiter. Thank you, boo. Thank you. Maybe for the Venus and Jupiter conjunction, we could start the Discord on the 12th. All right, I gotta go clean my backyard, y'all. Wish you well. One, most definitely. Thank you, Matt, for coming through. Most definitely keep hope alive. All right. I didn't wrap this up myself. I just wanted to hop on here and let y'all know. Please leave me comments down below, what y'all feeling, what y'all thinking, like some of the resources that you might have. Feel free to post them, just like what's going on in y'all's heads and things like that. And I look forward to seeing y'all outside of these platforms and hoping that we can create another type of community that actually speaks our language in this point in time moving forward. Again, I want to thank everybody who has come through on the YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank everybody who's come in on all other platforms or wherever it is that you found me from. I really appreciate y'all for being here throughout these years of my own personal evolution and growth. I hope and pray that these videos have helped you in some way, shape, or form. Y'all gonna make a thug cry. I feel like it's like, oh God, we're finally in this space. So it's like a bittersweet and just really embodying to this journey, really embodying the journey to its fullest, right? And being like, okay, it's fucking time. EP says, thank you for everything. I'm looking forward to the future. Thank you, EP. Thank you for coming through, boo. I'll see y'all soon. Y'all already know what it is. It's a rainy storm checking in, checking out. Aquarius full moon coming in, without a doubt. Deuces.